The biggest problem facing hard drives right now is them failing, not telling you, and you lose all of your files. What if I told you that there's an SSD that can warn you before it fails? That's what this one does. And while it takes a minute or two to set up, I think that minute or two is worth it when it means it being less expensive than these other options and much more secure. So let's set it up together and I'll show you exactly what we need to do. First, we're going to take off this back cover. It is literally one screw that we need to worry about, and that brings us to our first advantage here. This is an aluminum backplate heatsink, meaning that this is going to actually be able to dissipate the heat versus a lot of these other hard drives that are on the market that are literally coated in rubber, meaning all of the heat's going to get held inside. And if you've ever used a hard drive, you know how hot they get. Once we remove that on the back, we'll see the graphite thermal pad that will actually connect to our SSD, meaning that the heat transfer will be nice and efficient. Now, the best part about this enclosure is you can get whatever drives you want, and this is why it makes it so much less expensive than the off-the-shelf brands. And this also fits hard drives ranging from 2280 all the way to 2230 in size, so you can put any of the M.2 drives in here all the way up to 4 terabytes. This specific enclosure that we're using today is the Dockcase M.2 Smart SSD enclosure, and this has a couple tricks up its sleeve that will keep your files much more protected than anything else I've ever seen on the market. So all we have to do from here is remove our little screw that's in the back. We're going to put our SSD in. Remember to always angle it in at first. It will click right in, and then all we have to do is hold it down and screw it in. And then again, we want that heatsink to make good contact with here, so I'm actually going to remove the sticker that's on top of this M.2. And the reason that we're doing that is so that the heatsink can have better contact to actually be able to cool off the drive even better. All we have to do from this point is put the enclosure back together, grab our other included screw, drop it in, and screw it on. And just like that, I have a super fast 1 terabyte SSD that's going to be able to be properly cooled. But now we want to plug this thing in, and I'll show you what it can actually do. Remember to use a fast USB-C cable because this supports up to 10 gigabytes per second in transfer speed, meaning you're only held back by the speed of your actual hard drive. And you might notice that there's 2 USB ports on here because some hard drives actually require more power, and it can be more than the USB-C port on your computer can give out. So in the case of these off-the-shelf brands, they just won't put that powerful of SSDs in these, but in the case of here, you have an actual other USB-C port that you can use to provide extra power so you can get the full performance of your SSD. Once we plug this in, we'll see the screen that turns on and it says detecting SSD. And now you'll see on this screen here that it shows the data up and down. It shows the life of my hard drive, meaning it's at 100%, and it says that it's good. When you see this drop down and it starts to show poor, get all of your files off of here and put them onto a new SSD so that you don't lose your files. I wish every single hard drive had this, and this shows you right here on the enclosure itself. That right there could save your files. It shows that it's a 1 terabyte NVMe drive, and if you check really close right here at the top, it says PLP is charging. That is the next best thing about this enclosure. It actually has hardware level power loss protection, meaning that if you were to lose power to this completely, it keeps enough power built up into it internally to be able to make sure that all your files are finished writing from the cache to the actual SSD in here so you don't lose any files in the case of a power loss. On top of that, you can also enable a read-only mode, giving you just an extra layer of security that no one will be able to go in and mess with your files. It's completely plug and play. You don't need any driver. But again, the reason that you're getting this is because it's going to tell you the life of your hard drive, so you know